Welcome, Ryan Dickson. Appreciate you being able to contact us here. First off, tell us a little bit about where you are and how long you've been there, and basically what things have been like for you over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. Right now I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, to train my Muay Thai. Um, I've been here. I got here on the 28th of December, and I leave on the 6th of February. I'm at a gym where it's pretty much just Muay Thai, so I came here mainly to obviously improve on my striking. My coach has really great boxing, but we don't really do a lot of Muay Thai. So I want to improve on my kicks, my knees, my elbows, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to come out here again. I'd been here before, but I just want to come back and sharpen up everything.
So you won the title back in October. What was that first couple of weeks like? That was your first title win. What was that like? And I know the night of you were a bit foggy because you took a couple big shots, but you've obviously seen the fight since then. So just talk to us about that fight a little bit.
Well, after I just ate a whole bunch because I was very active in 2014, so I took some time off. I went away for the first time, not for training, so I went away to Cuba for a week. But I was happy with the fight, the Mazzani fight, but at the same time I was really annoyed. Um, I always start off slow in my fights, which is not a good thing. So I took a little more punishment than I probably should have. But the way that the fight ended and the way that I came out in the second was exactly what I wanted to do the whole time. I just got to be able to do that next from now on. I got to do that right away, right off the first bell kind of deal. So no, overall I was happy, but a little bit upset too. I'll never be happy with my fights. That's a lot of people. They comment on how I never smile after I win, and it's because I always find like I make more mistakes than I'd like to. But
Now, those mistakes, I guess, by correcting them, that's just going to make you a better fighter. Speaking of better fighters, you and I were talking on Twitter just recently, and your Twitter handle's at RYDMMA. Is that correct?
yeah, RYD MMA
Yeah.
for
So
Twitter and for Instagram, both the same one.
yeah, so you can check him out on Twitter, and obviously some frustration from you spilling over. You've got 10 wins on your career. All 10 of them have been finishes. You've been consistently stepping up your competition level, so you're not taking easy fights. How has it got to be frustrating for someone like you that puts so much into the sport to still be kind of on the outside of those bigger promotions?
Well, the way that it is I tell everybody I wouldn't be upset if, because apparently on SureDog and a couple of different websites, I'm in the top 10 for 155 worldwide. So like for prospects that should be in the bigger promotions. So if it was guys that were in that top 10 that were making it ahead of me, or like people that were really close to that, I'd be upset still, but I mean I would understand. But one of the UFCs a little bit ago, I saw Vic Grujic, who was fighting in that, and he had been choked out by Dave Mazzani, who I just knocked out. And then there's other guys in there that have. There was a guy that was in there that was 3-2. Like, what the heck? Why are there guys in there that are like that? They do not belong. Like, I do not understand why there's guys that are getting in there with that kind of records when there's guys that were on that top 10 that I was speaking of that were from like Russia or all these different countries like in Europe or Brazil or whatever that had similar records to me. Maybe they were like 20-4 or something like that, or something crazy, like they weren't necessarily fighting all the tough guys, but they had big records, which if those guys were getting in, I would be okay. You know what? I just need to, like, it is what it is. I just need to keep biding my time. But when I see guys in there that do not belong in there, that's what pisses me off. Like, and what the UFC stands for really should be like the NHL, the NFL. That's what they want to be like. They want to be that upper echelon league. And when they bring in white belts, you know what I mean? Like when they bring in guys that are not belonging and deserving of that, that's what frustrates me, you know, because there's guys like me, like myself, and people that are in that top 10 that I was speaking of that this is their life. They're putting in everything. They're fighting tough guys. Like I fought Garcia. I fought Mike Hill. I fought Dewsbury. I fought Omich. I fought Mazzani. I fought like tough dudes. So I don't get it. I don't know what more I need to do. Like, and I still say like I'll fight kind of whoever, you know. But I don't know. I just feel like I should be on one of those. I belong in the UFC. So
is it a question of maybe these guys are just those hometown guys and they're filling up cards with the hometown guys to get a little bit of a pop, or is it just a question of maybe the way they're marketed or which promotions they fought for, or can you have any kind of insight to the person at home why someone like that would get picked ahead of somebody with an impressive record like yourself?
It might be a little bit of that, you know, because the guy that was like Vic Grujic was from Australia, and the show was like, or the fight event was in Australia. The guy who was 3-2 was from Brazil. But come on, like it shouldn't really play that much because there's other guys from Australia that will be on that card. Like the headliner could be a guy from Australia or whatever, but there comes a point where it should just be the best guys that are in there. When like I could see Mazzani being pissed off that Grujic was in there because Mazzani choked him out. But then I just knocked out Mazzani, so like why? It's just I don't know. I don't really understand it. They should have a ranking system in the UFC or for MMA in general where guys get ranked according to who they beat, how they beat them, their wins, all that kind of stuff, and to be like me and my one of my physiotherapist doctor sponsors was helping me out, and we were talking while he was, and we were saying that he plays online chess, and when you start off with online chess, you have a ranking system, and you're ranked right away. Even if you're 0-0, you're like 1,000 ranking or something. We'll just say as an example, and then when you get matched up with another guy that's close to that ranking. And if you win, you go up. If you lose, you go down. If you beat a guy that's got a big ranking, you move up a lot. If you beat a guy with a small ranking, you go up just a little bit. So I could see something like that being more efficient. And if people are good, they just belong in there. Like if everyone in the UFC was as good or better than me, I would not be mad. It's just I need to pay my dues. But when there's guys that are in there for no rhyme or reason, that's kind of what's annoying me because I've been, in theory, doing everything I need to do. I train 6 days a week for like 5-6 hours every day. I study like when I'm not training. I'm reading motivation books. I've got in my room right now. I've got like Success Principles, The Magic of Believing, like all these books to keep yourself motivated. And then I watch BJJ instructionals. I watch different fights, and all in the meantime I'm training as well. So it's like my life revolves around doing that. And to not get that, to not see any results for that is what pisses me off because I don't really care about the wins. I want to get to where I can get my name out there.
So is this basically a general call in what you're doing right now? Is this a general call out to the UFC, out to Bellator? You know, we're happy to have you as the Hard Knocks champion, but of course we want to see you get to that upper echelon because of not only your character, but because, you know, you're a homegrown fighter with us. But is there a call out there to say, hey, look, you know, Dana White, Joe Silva, just give me a call and tell me who you want me to fight, and who will it prove that I'm ready to step in there? Or perhaps is it just a question of it's such a deep division that, you know, these fights are coming in, and yes, they're filling local cards with local fighters. Perhaps that time will come with you when you get an opportunity when the next Toronto card happens. Is that something that's been on your mind and just being patient for that Toronto card?
Kind of, yeah. Like I'll fight. I'll be the like early on in my amateur career, and then even on in some of my fights. When I was an amateur, they'll tell you otherwise, but I was set up probably to lose every time. Like I was fighting guys that had more wins from that from their hometown almost every time, and then I got to fight at home my first fight, and then I went to fight a guy who I had beaten amateur in his hometown, and then I fought everybody else in their hometown for like the majority of my fights up until I kind of for the score I fought hometown a little bit, but I fought in Chicago, I fought in Sarnia, which was closer to the one guy who I fought out in the U.S. and stuff like that, and then I consider Hard Knocks kind of more home because I was fighting Americans for you guys, so I was a hometown guy with you. But I'll go fight a Brazilian in Brazil. I'll go fight a American in his hometown. I don't really care because I'll win. So in my opinion, if I just need that shot, and I want to know that if I belong or not in there, and I know I do belong. So I just want to get that chance because I know all my fights are pretty exciting, I've been told. So I just want to be, if I can just get one fight in there, then I'll prove that I belong in there and that I'll be someone that people want to see fight.
If there was anybody, I threw some names out on Twitter, including Nick Jonas from the Kingdom Fighting series, and you said you'd be happy to take him on, even though in the show he looks pretty scary. Well, as scary as one could be anyway, that purity ring thing. But tell us who in this country, who's a name that people would recognize that you say, I know you said you'd fight anybody, but what are a couple names out there that you'd be like, well, this guy would get me some attention if I could take him on and take him out?
That's a good question. I don't really I don't know. There's guys in the UFC that I'd like to fight.
Okay, so let's change the question around. Let's have your very first fight in the UFC. Dana White gives you a call. He says, hey, kid, you're fighting in the UFC. We're putting you up against X. I know you don't care who X is, but give me some names. Give me someone that you'd want to take on first.
Anybody that there's as soon as I got, because what I was thinking was I was going to get a call facing anybody, like I was going to be filling in short notice to fight so-and-so. So I was expecting that, and then as soon as I got that call, I was going to have a notebook that I was going to fill out, literally writing down the UFC roster and then calling out those people. So I haven't really looked into who I would want to fight yet, but some of the guys would be like, I don't know, like I think I could match up, and his style would be super exciting. If me and like Cajun fought, because me and him are both, he's super exciting to fight. He's like one of the toughest guys. He brings it every fight. Me and him would be, I'm just thinking purely for fan friendly fights. Like me and him would be very exciting. Me and like a Sam Stout or I don't know. There's a bunch of guys. Me and Ollie were talking, and I joked with him saying, me and Olivier Aubin Marsan, me and him would be exciting. Or like, I wouldn't fight Ollie because they're really nice guys. But there's a whole list. Like the main thing I would want to do, because early on you could kind of fight whoever. So I would want to expose some of the people that don't belong in there, just take them out extremely exciting fashion and make a statement kind of thing with some of those guys that there was a guy, I think you saw the tweet that I posted where I'm ranked 99 according to Fight Matrix, and that's a pretty scientific website, I like to think, and there was a guy that was 507. You know what I mean? Like, so someone like that, I would love to just go in there and say, this guy does not belong in there, and just get him out of here. It's people like that give the sport a bad name. I don't know who it was, but people that are that low ranking really do not belong in there. There's no excuse for that.
Now, obviously, because there hasn't been the call yet, I'm sure there's been some calls from Hard Knocks Fighting and looking to get you to defend your belt once you get back. Is that something that you have in the horizon? Are you keeping it in your back pocket to defend the belt at 155 pounds?
Of course, yeah. If I don't get a call, like by the time I get back, if I don't really have a call, so like February, I want to start planning the fight as if I was going to fight in March or something like that. And then I don't know what the standard is for Hard Knocks, but like the only way I would not do that, a fight with Hard Knocks in like, if they would like me to in March or something like that, or April, would be if a UFC call came for like the Montreal card or something like that. But yeah, when I get back, I'd like to train, because right now I haven't done any jiu-jitsu or anything. I'm just doing Muay Thai. So I'd like to train for about a month, like not quite a month or maybe a month, train my grappling and stuff. But I'd like to fight kind of quickly when I get back. And obviously, why wouldn't I want to fight for Hard Knocks? So,
how are your shins treating you? I hear they're very mean in Thailand when it comes to your shins.
Oh, my shins are dead from the first time I came here. They killed them the first time I fought. I fought twice when I came out here, and I didn't know that the way that it was scored was that if you throw a kick, you don't get points. Or if I check a kick, I don't get points unless I throw a kick. So the guy kept kicking me, and I wasn't returning, so he just but I was checking all of them, so he kept kicking me. So my shins got just annihilated in that fight, and they've been dead ever since. So I don't really feel them. I'm kicking hundreds of kicks every day, and it doesn't really bother me.
So that one thing that you mentioned earlier is not necessarily a weakness, but more of just a noticing on the way that you fight, is that you're a bit of a slow starter. And if you take a look at the fights, we'll just look at the CJ Marsh fight and the Dave Mazzani fight. Obviously, the Marsh one, you were doing very well with the grappling, but still ate a lot of punches to your face. That's something that your detractors, and I say that very loosely because most people are very big fans of you, but they say you take a lot of damage, and there's that concern that if you're against a guy that's got that one-punch knockout power like a Marcus Davis, for example, who has just been known to catch guys and end them, whether that's a concern. Is that something that you're working on constantly?
Yeah, I've been working on, because what I found was I'm either, like I was always in their range. So what I've been working on is I'm either out, so I'm not real. They have to overcommit to come inside to connect with me, or I'm inside tight. Because when I'm inside tight, I've got every advantage. I've got a good. Unfortunately, I'm known for having a good chin, and then I've got a lot of power, and then obviously the wrestling. So I'm either in either tight, so I can use my attributes, or I'm out. When I fought CJ, I was in his range always. Like it was like I was just kind of stalking him slowly, as opposed to closing the distance quickly on him, and that's where he was able to capitalize and mush up my face pretty good.
So, kind of next for you, you've got just under a month left in Thailand, and then you're back and waiting for that call. Is it safe to say that if anybody in the 155-pound division wanted to challenge you for your Hard Knocks belt, that you'd be up for it?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Just tell us, just for sheer enjoyment, I guess. Tell us a little bit about the living conditions out there. Obviously, you are in a very white room with a boat on the wall. Yes. That's as best as I can do there.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. No, it's. I took a little video on my Instagram about it, but it's very plain. There's like a little fridge. I got my supplements back there, and then. Luckily, this time I have a bathroom for myself. Like I have a shower and a toilet and stuff in there. But the last time I was here, it was really ghetto. I have air conditioning too, which is good. But before, I had a couple fans, and that was it. I had to walk like probably I had to wake up and walk 50 paces to go to the washroom. I didn't have my own shower or anything. There was no air conditioning. It was pretty ghetto last time, but it's still ghetto, but it's better than before. It's an upgrade.
Well, that's good. Is there anything that else you want to add in? Anything you want to say to your fans at home who might not get an opportunity to check you out on Twitter at RyDMMA?
No, just I'm training hard, and my next fight will be because the last bunch of fights I've been forcing stand up kind of to try and get that knockout. So this fight's going to be a little bit more strategic. I'm not going to just try and strike until the last minute and then take the guy down like I did against CJ, against everybody. Like I did that since the Garcia fight. So I did that against Garcia, Hill, all them. But this fight's going to be probably the best that I'll have ever looked because my striking's on another level now. I feel good. There's a guy who I sparred with today he's got 2 belts already. He's like 6 feet tall. He's the biggest Thai I've ever seen, but he's got like 200 fights, and me and him are clinching every day. Me and him are sparring, boxing a few times a week, and then I'm working. There's a bunch of other guys here they have like 200 fights. They fight twice a month, so I'm really getting to work with a lot of very high level strikers, and my striking feels very good with them. So my next fight's going to be a statement. If I'm not in the UFC by the time I get back or soon for my next fight, this fight coming up with Hard Knocks will definitely seal that deal.
Have you been to any Thai bars where you were asked to dip your hands in honey and then glass?
No. Not yet, at least. Not yet, but...
They're saving that for your last day, hey?
Yeah, they're saving that for later. They want to make sure that I'm well prepared for that. I don't want to go in there too prematurely and get hurt or something like that. They want to make sure I'm ready.
One last question here for you. In the card coming up on January 30th, we've got Misha Cirkunov taking on Rodney Wallace. I know you know lots about Cirkunov and not so much about Wallace, although he did beat Clay Davidson pretty handedly, who was fighting on that same card as you when you won your belt. Do you have any predictions about that fight?
Well, Misha trains with he trains with us, like by us I mean he trains with Elias, and I train with them a couple of days a week, not that much, but Misha's one of the best grapplers, especially at that weight class in Canada when it comes to wrestling and jiu-jitsu together, and his striking's been looking a lot better. He's still a bit robotic, but he's definitely getting a lot better at his striking, and he's in good shape. So I think Misha wins pretty decisively this fight.
So if Misha wins his fight between you, Sergey, and Misha, you guys will dominate the 3 weight classes. They're all pretty much from the same gym. Is it the water out there, or Elias's hair? What's really doing it?
I don't even know. Like, those two are just. Well, actually, I think we're all just really tough, and we train really hard. So like I know we all train. Like Sergey, I've trained with Sergey a bunch of times, but like he trains with them every now and then. He trains more in Toronto now than, and I train less in Toronto now, so I don't train with him as much as I used to. But the way his work ethics is awesome. Like he's always trying to think of where he's weak, and then Misha's just been training forever, and he's been one of the best guys around for a long time. So I think it's just the way we train. We're really trying to figure out where our holes are, and then fix them up as well as we can, because that's where you get exposed. People, if you have any weaknesses in this game, you're in trouble. And the best way, like if you're a striker, you can't just improve more on your striking. If you're a wrestler, you can't just improve more on that. You got to make sure you're as balanced as you can be. And with those guys, as well as myself, we're always trying to think of how we can become more balanced.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ryan. I know you've been spending a lot of time trying to make yourself better, and hopefully over the next month or so, we'll be able to announce on our website that you've been offered a UFC contract. But if not, of course, we're happy to have you back, and good luck with the rest of your training.
Thanks a lot, Jeremy. And yeah, I definitely love to come back. Hard Knocks has always been great for me. So I'm hoping that I get the call, but if not, I'll be back to fight with you guys. So thanks for the interview and stuff, and nice to hear from you.
Nice to hear from you too.